Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back and listening in. Michael with the Real 1%. Back at you guys with another episode of Military to Civilian Transition, the game plan to ultimate success. Got my boy Rob here with me today. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on your podcast, on your show, and hopefully I can add some value to some veterans today.
Hey, bro, appreciate you being here and appreciate what you do, man. Looking forward to hearing your story, and I'm pretty damn sure you're going to add a whole bunch of value, bro. So let's get on into it, man. We ain't going to waste no time. So if you want to go ahead and tell all the listeners that are online or going to hear this, what made you join the military? Where are you from originally? If you want to share that and just lead us up after the time you joined the military until when you started thinking about getting out, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. So long story short, long story long, I'm not sure, how long it's going to take for me to explain myself, but I'm from Detroit originally. I had a bunch of odd jobs before I joined the military, but the main one that I had before I joined was doing heating and cooling. And when I was doing heating and cooling, I was doing it for about a year, rocking out, sweating, going in attics. I ended up passing out in one of the attics, right? So I passed out and said, you know what, this can't be it. And I think I was only making maybe $15-$16 an hour. I was in my early 20s. And I think either that day or the next day, I went to a recruiter's office, right? So I went to the recruiter's office. It was in 2007. And I said, hey, let me see what this is about. And long story short, the same day, he had me take the ASVAB. He had me do the physical fitness test and all this type of stuff. I scored, pretty high on the ASVAB. And he was like, you pretty much can have, whatever job you want. And I was like, well, I don't want nothing with gunner or rocket in the job title. Like, what else? what can you give me? And he was like, well, what about some computer stuff? And I said, well, okay. And I think a week later, that was the reason I shipped out. So I was like, yeah, let me think about it. Then I got back to the house, and the recruiter called me and was like, hey, my NCO or whoever the hell it was said that if you leave next week, they'll give you a $20,000 bonus. I said, I'm gone. And a week later, I was in Fort Benning at basic training. So I was a 25 Bravo, which is an information technology specialist, pretty much, setting up the network, all that type of stuff. And I stayed in for close to 9 years, got up to staff sergeant, deployed to Afghanistan, one deployment underneath my belt. That was pretty much the thing that kind of, was a catalyst to make me say like, yeah, I don't want to do this again. That was kind of like, I kind of made up my mind in Afghanistan that most likely I wasn't going to make a career out of it. So after 9 years, I decided to tap out.
What was it about Afghanistan that made you say I'm good? Like,
I mean, I guess okay, that was a catalyst. I guess you could say that, but it was a kind of a lot of things, right?
okay.
So for one, I kind of felt like I had reached a ceiling. Like I didn't want to go anywhere, right? I was an E6 and I had the opportunity to be a warrant officer. I could have been went to officer school. I could have been an E7, whatever I wanted to do. I could have did it. My NCOs were like, man, you're super smart. You could do it, whatever direction you want to go. Because I was one of those troops that when I was trying to get out, everybody was telling me not to. I think that's everybody though. Because I think you're going to be homeless, begging for change, I guess. But I had a lot of potential. I'm an E6 and 6 and blah, blah, blah. You can do all this type of stuff. It was basically, I just felt like I could do more on the outside than I could do in. I was kind of tired of not having a say-so when it came to my life, really, as far as where I would live, where I would be, and just having so many just bosses, right? So many bosses. And, I can't speak for other branches or stuff like that. It's just that I kept on running into people that were in charge of me that I just was like, I don't know if this guy should be in charge of me. So I just like, let me go ahead and tap out and see what happens on the other side.
Hey, I can't blame you, man. Props to you for doing that because, some people get too comfortable and they just stay in and ride their 20 out, even though they're not even happy doing it. You know what I'm saying? So props to you for taking action and like not being scared to do it. I got a question for you. When you deployed to Afghanistan, did you work with civilians that were in the same job field as you?
Man, that was another thing.
I was gonna say, like, you saw someone making like 200,000, you're like, hey, I'm in the wrong fucking job, man.
No, that was the thing, bro. Like, I was there training the civilians, right? That was training the civilians to do their job, right? And I just broke my fucking heart, man. I asked the one that said, hey man, how much money you making? I don't know, making with the combat pay and all the other shit that everybody loves.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I might have been making like 60, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But he fucking he was like, yeah, man, I'm kind of on the low end because I just started. I'm making 210. I say 210 what? He say $210,000. I say, man, what the fuck? And I'm training you? And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah. He was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, that's just what it is. He was like, maybe you should get out and you try it out. And I just was like, yeah, I'm doing the wrong thing. That was one of the major things. Then, like I said, I just knew I didn't want to go back to Afghanistan. Like, the danger, getting blown
Not
up,
for
getting shot at.
60,000. Not for
Hell
60,000.
no. Hell
Yeah.
no. Honestly, not even for 200,000, to be
I don't
honest. Because
blame
it's
you.
just like, it's cool, go over there and then come back with a leg missing. I don't know if that shit is worth it. So,
That's
and
true.
then like I said, I just luckily, I can't say where it comes from, but I've always had just a strong sense of self and just a strong belief in myself, and also seeing, other people have gotten out and won. Other people have gotten out and been fine. So why not me? So a lot of times I just said fuck it and got out. And then, like I said, I was at that kind of crossroads to where if I re-enlisted again, I would have to be indefinite.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
for me, money is important, but time is way more important. It's like, man, you only got 10 years. 10 fucking years? That's a long time. You know what I can do in 10 years? In fact, I've been out for 17, 18, 19, 20, almost 7 years, right? I've been out for 7 years, and I know for sure, I've accomplished way more in that 7 years than I would have accomplished staying in.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that real quick here soon too, because like, yeah, you could have became a warrant, you could have went to, there's only so much you can do you're not gonna. Okay, if you start a business outside, you can make $1 million in a day if you had the right business, if you sold a Learjet or something like that, right? But you're not gonna do that in the military, so yeah, you're capped out. What did it look like for you when you decided in Afghanistan like you're gonna get out? Did you start planning on getting jobs? Like how far out were you on that? Like what was your plan?
So, I wish I could say that I was just, dead set and I was gonna get out. But I think like most people, as far as getting out, I had that thought a bunch of times, right? And that time I kind of folded, right? So in Afghanistan, I'm done, I'm getting out. So how many times did I re-enlist? I think I re-enlisted either once or twice. But anyway, after Afghanistan, I re-enlisted. I was definitely like gung ho, like, yeah, but then I started getting, nervous, scary, listening to people like, oh, I don't know if it is gonna be sweet on the other side. So I end up, re-enlisting, I want to say when I got back. I might have re-enlisted twice. Anyway, in 2014 is when I went to Augusta, right? So for all the tech soldiers that's in the army, they go to Augusta to the schoolhouse. So I got orders to go to the schoolhouse and train the troops, right? Which I did not want to do. I did not. I was literally thinking about getting out, signing a deck statement, say I don't want to do this. It's a wrap. I can't re-enlist. I don't care, because I just know how I was as a troop going through, and I was like, I don't want to deal with these damn dummies. But and ended up working out because God got a sense of humor, and honestly, me teaching them students is allowing me to do what I'm doing now. So in 2014 is when I really was for sure like, look, you gotta. I'm not doing this no more, right? I'm gonna give it my all. I never gave up. That's another thing that you mentioned that I do not respect. People that do 20 years but pretty much tap out at 8 or 9. Just
Hell
pretty
yeah.
much.
They holding it up for everybody else though. I was a cook, man. The points were maxed out for E6 for fucking years, dude. And it's because people don't want to do nothing. That's just a prime example. But absolutely, dude. They just get comfortable and they ride their time. You know what I mean?
That's another thing. If anybody that's listening to this, because I'm one of the first to be on here before he absolutely blows the fuck up, is that just like anywhere else, just because you're in the military, it's still lazy people, it's still losers, it's still just people that don't want to win. An example of that, my damn dreams was crushed straight out of basic, right? So I'm in basic, I'm at Fort Benning, all the fucking drill instructors are infantry. So I'm out there, I'm a real killer, right? Even though I'm not infantry, I'm still, but it's rah. I'm thinking that everybody is high speed, everybody's in shape, everybody fucking get 300 on a PT score, everybody can shoot damn, what I'm saying, from 1,000 yards away. My first unit, right? The lady that was incepting me was an E8, right? Was an E8, and no disrespect, no, nothing against
Yeah.
people, but she was fucking obese, not chubby, not chunky, not obese. I'm like, I didn't know they made fucking uniforms this big. I'm like, how the fuck is she? And I'm like, and then we gotta do height and weight and tape. I'm like, if they taping me, how in the fuck? Anyway,
Yeah.
I just knew that it was an illusion. Like, oh shit, okay, so this is a bunch of bullshit. So, but anyway, the one good thing that I liked about the military, um, is anybody can really win because a lot of shit is in black and white. If you do this, and that, as long as you don't run into the shit you just talked about the points and too many people, the whole known and ain't no spaces, you can pretty much win. If you do this and that, you get promoted. If you can shoot, if you do these skills, if you do this, you can do that, you can get promoted. But I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent. What was
Nah,
your
you're
original
good,
question?
dude. Keep going. You're good.
No, so once I got to Augusta, started rocking out, started teaching. I put no, that was how the transition. So I would say that at a year minimum, people that's looking to transition, you need to really have a solidified plan a year out, right? If you 90, a lot of times the plan for veterans is I'm getting out. That's what the plan is.
Yeah.
I'm getting out. Like, okay, you're gonna be fucked because you got
Yeah.
to have a plan because nobody. Newsflash, for anybody that's either thinking about joining or already in, nobody cares. Nobody. If you're a veteran and you put it on the application, they're gonna say thank you for your service. What can you do? They don't. That's that can be like a little bit of a sprinkle on top of the cupcake, on top of the icing. But you just being a veteran does not matter. You got to have some skill sets. And you got to actually provide some value to an organization to get hired. But I started mine as 2 years out, right? So 2 years out, I was in tech. Did I have any? I might have had a cert or two certifications. So my plan was I got to get as many certifications as I can get, and I got to meet and connect with as many people as I can because I was like, I'm not getting out without a fucking job, right?
Yeah.
So and at that point, made two decisions. For one, get as much education as I can. Two, get a degree, and three, not take any leave, right? So that way I knew that I'm at least have 60 days of leave saved up to where I can be going on interviews, I can be rocking out and not have the overhead or the worry of a check not coming in, right? So it worked out for me to where, all that shit worked out. I had 60 days of leave. I was getting a check from the army and a check from, my first job straight out the military.
Who helped you get that mindset,
No
or was it
fucking
just
body.
all you?
Nobody.
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 You just
Nobody.
woke up and said, "Holy shit, I gotta like get on it." I did
Yep.
sort of the same thing. I had nobody helping me. I lined a job up in Alaska on the oil rig, but you gotta, like you said, man. Once you realize no one's coming to save you, you're gonna be good as long as you take action, man. Because no one is. No one cares. No
Nope.
one cared about me living at my mom's house. No one cared about you getting certs. No one cared about you getting the first job.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy to think that shit, dude, but it's actually the truth, man. Like, when you're getting out of the military, you were NCO E6, so they said you're good, man. You're high speed. You take care of you. Go do you. No, what getting out the military? Did you do ACAP? Did you do a VA claim before you get out? Did you have a mentor? Any of that stuff happen for you?
So it was kind of proxy through like YouTube, right? So one thing I will say is this, and I apologize, and I actually have reached out to a few of my soldiers, right? Because
Yeah.
early on, I was brainwashed or whatever the fuck you want to call it, being high speed. I was always the one like I'm not gonna tell my troops to do nothing that I wouldn't do. I'm gonna be at PT, just a bad motherfucker all the way around, right?
Yeah.
And not going to sick call, right?
Yeah.
If you can hear my voice, that is the stupidest shit ever, man. If you are hurt, go to the fucking doctor, man. Go to the doctor, do the physical therapy or do the whatever they tell you to do, and then come back 100%. Do not believe. Trust me, man. So I guess we get into that later on, but I got coaching clients and I got students and stuff that are sergeant majors that cannot fucking walk because they had torn ligaments in their knees, but they high speed and they want to run, or lieutenant colonels that think they bad motherfuckers and are all messed up and can't even stand up straight because they didn't go to see. Look, man, supposedly we join the military for benefits. Use those benefits, right? If you have an NCO or a captain or whatever that is crying, complaining, oh, you need to be here. Look, man, let's go. Now, I'm saying now, do not be doing that shit to get out of PT. But if you're legitimately hurt, you need to go to the doctor, right? Because another thing is if you really do get messed up, They gonna med board your ass anyway, so you might as well be healthy, right? And another thing is, if you're legitimately messed up, which I'm pretty sure Mike covers all the time on here, if you don't have that shit in your documents and your medical records, they don't want to hear that shit. You're gonna get 0% when you get out. No disability.
Exactly. Yeah, get paperwork, man. Don't be scared to go. Take action. Get your paperwork. Keep it. Keep another copy. Put that shit on a USB drive, a hard drive, a disc, whatever you got to do, man. Because, like you said, it just all goes back to nobody cares, man. That medic, or I talked to people that said, "Oh, we used like even in the soft community, special forces," and they're like, "Yeah, we just had like a team medic," and well, guess what? That team medic never put shit in your medical files, your med pros, so.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you, sometimes you can do it still with deployment orders, but it's going to be a lot harder if you're trying to backtrack stuff when you get out. So just do it when you're in, man. Like Rob said, like we always, like everyone comes down here, says the same shit. I've never had no one come on here and say, nah, don't get that in your records. Don't go to sick call. Everyone's like regrets the brainwashing or the programming that we once faced to be the baddest on earth, or, the baddest in the section or the high speed NCO. But dude, we set ourselves up for failure, and the people that use sick call and have used it, whether they needed it or not, they actually might have made out better than some people that really needed it. So
Hello.
You're like, come on, man. Like, so you had all your stuff going on. Did you do a disability claim before you got out, or no? Did you not even know?
So that's one of the things that I was gonna say. So early on, like I said, when I was like an E5, I would kind of be like, oh, y'all got it, shit, come on, you can, with my troops and stuff. And then, like I said, I reached back out to those people like, hey man, I was fucking, and then they understood, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I know how it is, blah, blah, blah. And almost everybody that was in while I was in that I knew is still in. So a lot of them I reached out, like, go to the sick call, make sure it's in your records, blah, blah, blah. But when I made that decision is when I started to, in 2014, I was still, because I was working at the schoolhouse. So when that happens, you have to have 5 fucking hats. So I was an actual classroom instructor, a platoon sergeant, a financial advisor, a spiritual advisor, a fucking stepdaddy, all kind of shit, to the troops.
Yeah.
So, but I would go to the doctor, right? I would go to the doctor. My shoulder hurt, my ankle hurt, not bullshit, legitimate shit that had been bothering me for as long as I can remember, just to compile those records. So I had, 2 years of doctor's visits and stuff like that. So to answer your question, yeah, I was making claims and stuff before I even got out. I want to say when I got out, I'm at 80. I'm at 80 now. I was at 70% because my records was immaculate,
Okay.
And then I think I got bumped up to 80. They just did that shit on their own. I'm not sure what happened, but I got bumped up to 80. And I was talking to Mike before this, and hopefully, I can get to 100%, because the whole thing is let your ego go, whatever it is. You if you serve more than 4 years in the army, you're not okay. You're not, or in the military in general, you're not the same. Something's fucked up on you. I'm guaranteeing it is.
Got to be the knees, the ankles, something, dude. All that PT, all that, slamming and bamming. And you're right, though. And good for you for doing that, man, because I didn't know a year or two out. I didn't even know what a damn VA claim was, man. And I missed my appointment when I went. How ironic when I was, and they had me chaperoning out 2 soldiers, chaperoning them around when it was my time, the ETS or whatever. They're like, yeah, take these 2 around too. I'm like, well, why don't y'all do that shit? You know what I'm saying? In my head, I'm like, I'm just ready to go. So I'm like, whatever, dude, we're going to do this. Make sure they good, ask them the best I could. Hey, you got a plan? You got a job? Where you going back to? I mean, that's the best I knew. I didn't know about disability. I didn't know, we all probably didn't go to our appointments, man. So how did you know to start doing that? Like, did you just wake up one day and you're like, shit, I got to start getting this in order? Because obviously it must have been in the back of your mind at some point, but what made you turn that switch on and be like, yo, I got to get taken care of?
I mean, just honestly, just doing research and, like I said, just making that commitment to myself. I knew that I wasn't going to stay in. So I was like, I got to prepare myself as much as I can, because I didn't know shit about no VA shit either, right?
Yeah.
Because even during the, what is it called? Whatever the out processing shit or whatever it's called.
ACAP or whatever they do, or whatever.
They had mentioned it, but they had kind of bridged like, yeah, you can do the VA claim, but we'll talk about that later on. I'd say, wait a fucking minute.
Try to brush it off, like we mentioned it, but we're not going to touch on it. Like, yeah, just try to sweep that in there real quick. Like, hold on now.
Man, and then another thing is real simple, right? no matter what unit you in, no matter what you're doing, it's motherfuckers getting out. So you need to be talking to them. Hey, what they be talking about in the outpress and stuff, or what are they transitioning? What are the doctor's appointments? Talk to those people, right? Don't because that's one of the things I did. So I lied. I'm sorry. I started tapping in with people that was retiring, people
Okay.
that was ETSing, people that was getting kicked the fuck out. Like, what's going
Yeah.
on? Like, how does it look? Da da da. Because it's just like they're a good source of information ain't the people that's staying in. For one, they kind of looking at you like you crazy. Two, they're a little jealous because they can't believe that you're getting the fuck out. And three, they don't know what the fuck they talking about because they not going through what you're going through. So I would just say get it from the horse's mouth. Hey, what did they ask you in the physical, or what is this? What is that? Blah blah. The main thing is usually if you go to the doctor like you're supposed to, your medical record should be cool. And another thing is not saying play it up or go in there acting, but don't go in there like you good. Because if
Yeah.
you go in
Don't
there
play
like
it
you
down.
good,
Yeah.
yeah, they'll
Exactly.
give you fucking zero. Oh, so if you got neck pain and got to wake up and take ibuprofen or do stretches and shit before you can even feel normal, tell them that shit. Don't go in there like, oh yeah, I'm good, and then they tell you do a backflip and you do it. Man, hell no.
Yeah, they gotta measure that. Yeah, they go like, especially if you got something wrong with your knees or they measure stuff like, hey, touch your toes. Oh, I could do that, but every other day you saying you can't fucking walk, but now you're touching your toes trying to show off. No,
Right.
sir, no, ma'am. Like you got to let that go, man. But that's another thing. It's like if you wait and do that with the VA, not saying they're not going to give you what you deserve, but they may try to discredit you for what it is you're trying to go for. So just something to look out for. What hey, I was gonna tell you something about when you said about that E8, you had that obese soldier. Remember that meme that used to go around? It was that fat ass army dude in the combat shirt walking around with the pizza. That's I just remember that one out when you said that.
I'm telling you, I'm like, what the hell? Because she was big as hell. I'm like, this is crazy. And
And got the E8 rank, rocking it out, man, living it up big time, baby. No one touching him.
Nobody. And that's another thing is just the standard, was just all over the place. For me, I got to be damn 0% body fat, be able to kill 100 motherfuckers and do all this other stuff. But her, it just was like, oh, okay, I guess that's the comfort or the shield to come with the rank, I guess.
Yeah, something like that, man. It's got to be something. So, all right. Well, what did it look like? What'd you do? You want to touch on like your first job at all? You want to just go jump into like where you're at now? It's up to you, man. Just lead us up to what you've been up to now, unless you want to keep touching on getting out of the military.
Well, no, I kind of want to stay there for a minute because I know that's one of the things that a lot of people deal with. And I just want to tell whoever listening to this, no matter if you're a private or sergeant major, like I got clients that literally was goddamn Green Berets and did all this crazy shit, and it's scary, right? Being scared is a natural feeling, right? So just to be transparent, I had this plan and I done got started up. I got people, calling me for interviews and shit before I get out, and I could not sleep. That's how scary the transition was. Like when it got especially when I got to the point to where I can't remember the numbers or the deadline, but it's a certain point to where if you don't reenlist by a year out or whatever the fuck it is, you can't reenlist. When I got to that point, I was having trouble sleeping because I'm like, shit, I'm used to getting this check every day of 2 weeks. I was just getting these benefits, blah, blah, blah. So the transition is scary, but what would have been even more scary if I was completely unprepared, didn't have no backup plan, didn't have shit going on. Just like, okay, well, I'm gonna get out, people gonna thank me for my service, and I'm gonna get a job at Google. No, it don't work like that. You definitely have to prepare. But another thing I was gonna say is for me, not speaking about nobody else, even though I climbed up the ladder, the military was great. I got to work with a bunch of different people, but it was never like a lifestyle for me, right? And what I found is that the people that treat it as a lifestyle have the hardest transition, especially like the higher ranking people.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck that you're a sergeant major at McDonald's. Don't nobody care. And then a lot of times the leadership is a facade or like a veil, right? People are respecting you because of the rank, not because they respect you, right?
Right.
So a lot of times people that were in leadership roles have a hard time transitioning out because people may have not respected them because they were respectful, right? Not because they deserve their respect, but more because of the rank. So the good thing is, since I kind of treated more of a lifestyle and never was like the real hard charging. Now, every now and again, you have to get on somebody's ass, but I was never just, some people just cuss out everybody, flip out on everybody. I'm about to just do all this extra shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's not, the sense of a true leader, right? Because a lot of times when you leading people, you got to kind of read the room. Some people, the rah-rah stuff helps them. Other people, you got to pat them on the back. Other people, you got to give them affirmations and that type of stuff, right? So what I found is E5 and below, maybe E6 has an easier time transition. When they get up to like E8, E9, the officers, that are maybe a major or above, they have a harder time transition just because they're so used to people being like, oh, here come, because it's weird, go from, being a sergeant major and then shit, when you come in the room, everybody yelling at ease, everybody acting weird, everybody's scared. And then you come in a room and nobody gives a fuck. So if you are a senior leader, I would say start reading leadership books that don't pertain to the military, because it's a completely different thing on the outside. Another thing is, it depends on your vibe, depends on how you are. And then, like I said, a lot of times I have a pretty good gauge on people's energy. Some people, I can cuss at them, and I'm talking on the civilian side because I just can tell, the type of things that they need. Other people, may not be able to do that. The stuff that, long story short, some of the stuff that you do in the military could get you completely fucked up. Like somebody can slap the shit out you if you try and do it on the civilian side. So I would say, if you're senior leadership, to work on that leadership thing, to start practicing it inside of what you're doing right now. Some people, you hard on them. Other people, you kind of let them rock out, figure it out on their own, just so you kind of have those different things. Because a lot of times what I found is those guys that can't get out of that mode or leadership, either they burn out or they work on the installation, right? They're like they work at the gate, or
GS, they got a GS job or like a DOD civilian. They can't turn it off, man. You're absolutely right, and it's not a lie, because I've had sergeant majors come on here and tell me, "Hey, I'm a sergeant major, 32 years. I was gonna do 20, but I started getting out, but I didn't know what to do, or I didn't know how to turn it off." But like you saying, man, you got to turn that shit off. It's over. It's over, man. It's over. You're not sergeant major no more. You're not first sergeant. No one's standing at parade rest at you for you. No one's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are gonna respect you for the person you are. Like you said, you got to learn how to get down on people's levels as a leader. And like you said, you got to know how to have different leadership styles for different people. But you gotta turn it off, man. You got to. Absolutely right.
Another thing is, some of the most intelligent, some of the most charismatic, some of the real wells of knowledge are the privates and the specialists. And a lot of times those senior people shit on them so much, or be talking shit or whatever fuck, that they don't really be able to tap into, that brilliance that a lot of them troops have. Just because of somebody's a private or somebody's a specialist, somebody's lower ranking, don't mean that they ain't got a good idea, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of times you got to, like, shit, what you think we should do? Okay, what you think we should do? It ain't always you. Just because you're a leader doesn't mean that you just, whatever I say goes. Like, a lot of times, you got to make it more of a collaborative effort, and just kind of, group think, and just say, okay, what do y'all think we should do? And that's another thing, like I said, that I did. And I think working at the schoolhouse helped me as well. I just knew, like, I'm like, me being if I'm a hard charge and just flipping out on people and shit, that's not going to work. So, when I was at the schoolhouse, I was working primarily with privates and specialists, and I would have more of a, discussion and something. Now, if they needed to be disciplined, that was another lane. But for the most part, it's just like, you grown, shit, this is what you need to do. Let's just do that. And then, a lot of that respect came from that, because it just was like, okay, Sergeant Roberts might, if we fuck up, he's going to go off on us. But if we do what we need to do, it's going to be fine. And a lot of times, you garner respect from that. And also not telling somebody to do some shit that you either never done or wouldn't do. That's just what I found in my experience, helps out a lot.
Nah, dude, you're absolutely right. Excuse me. Yeah, like, you can't, yelling at people, especially in the civilian world, is not really going to get through to anybody. Even in the military, man, it just shuts people down, dude. I mean, have I done it? Of course I've done it. Like you said, you got to dig in someone's ass if they're messing up. But like in the Army that we were used to, man, that was just you're just accustomed to doing that. And like you said, if you start getting people involved and just ask them stuff, they're gonna feel like they're worthwhile and that their opinion and their thoughts matter. So that only benefits the team, dude. It's no brainer, bro. But it's not always done. So absolutely right, dude. Great point to bring up.
You know, another thing I found was that just treating men like men, right? Even if the guys are private or something, this is still a grown man you're talking to. And a lot of times I had to get on somebody's ass. I rarely did it in public, right?
Right.
If I had to cuss you out or flip, it was going to be with me and you. And a lot of times they know that, okay, this guy either cares about me or I really need to, I'm fucking up. Because a lot of times we do that shit in public, they not going to hear it. They're going to get embarrassed and that shit is going to breed resentment. And they just can't, they could try and fuck you over or just ain't going to listen to you. And it's going to make, being in charge of them a lot harder. Because a lot of times I just noticed that if I let a motherfucker rock and pretty much give them the tools, this is what you need to do, this is what I expect. That's another thing, not setting expectations. This is what I expect of you as a soldier. I need you to do this and that. If you do this and that, we good. If you don't, we not good. A lot of times, if you didn't tell somebody, if you didn't get nobody no guidance, no steps, and then they fuck up, they didn't even know they was fucking up because you didn't tell them.
Yeah, it's just piss poor leadership at its finest, right? It's absolutely, man. So yeah, the schoolhouse must have opened you up because you're around all people. Like it's not like you're in your section where you got some soldiers that are like high speed or you got an NCO. You got to take care of all of them. But I'm sure it was rewarding, man. Looking back at it, you're like, damn, this was a good time. You're not in Afghanistan. You're helping the future generation, and you're just doing your thing, man. So that's not bad. And you were at what's that? Not Stewart.
Fort
Gordon, Georgia. Yeah, okay. I heard it's nice there, so that's cool. But
I don't know about that, but it was okay.
Nice. Yeah, I guess it is the Army base, man.
You're right.
I'm just saying it's one of the nicer places for an Army person to get.
For sure.
Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
Better than Drum, Polk, Irwin. I mean,
man, I missed all of them. Believe it or not, I ain't been in none of them.
Me neither, dude. I never had to go to NCC or JRTC because we did it always at Fort Campbell. But when I went to Germany, you were there too, right? So we went to Hohenfels though, because I was in Vilsec. I was on the shitty side. You were on the nice side because you probably in the, you were on the good side.
No. Hohenfels was a shithole too. I had to go there all the time for training and that shit.
Well, that was like our version. That's Germany's version of like NTC or JRTC. So yeah, everyone goes there in Europe, but it's not bad, man. What you want to touch on next? You want to? Okay, what about this one? What would you tell, minus the things we talked about, the sick call, the records? What would you tell the old you, or what would you tell someone else that's in the military right now if they want to transition? Not about something that we haven't touched on. Is there anything that you would recommend them that you didn't do?
Yeah, not taking benefit or taking advantage of training, right? So they always would want to send me to training. I would never want to, whatever way it was like this type of training. That's why I had to kind of on the tail end make up for certifications. And I'm talking about any type of training, whether it's weapons training, whether it's leadership training, whether it's educational shit. Because me being a business owner now, people will pay $20,000-$30,000 for the shit that the Army will teach you, whether it's leadership stuff, whether it's the weapons stuff, whatever training. Like literally, if they will let you go to training, you need to be there, right? Like I said, people hate going to the range. It costs money. I don't know if y'all know this, but shit, it costs money to go to the range. It costs money to get trained how to use, all these different weapon systems. It costs money to figure out how to get 10 people from over here to over here. It's so many people that don't know how to do things that may not seem like a big deal. Trust me, man. So when I was, like I said, when I was at the schoolhouse, I would have to march them from the schoolhouse to the barracks. Literally 700-800 people, shit at one time in a single file, not fucking up, not messing up. That takes leadership skills. That takes different tactics. That takes, like, it might not seem like that big of a deal, but any training, that's one of the things that I wish I would have took more advantage of, is just any training they'll take you to, let you do, go ahead and do it. One thing I will say is this, and this may be a whatever the fuck, but I wouldn't have focused as much on getting promoted, right? I was super focused on, I got to be E6 and 6. I got to get, now you want that leadership and all this other stuff, but it just kind of, I wouldn't have been as focused. I would have been more focused. If I would have known, which you can, I guess, if I'd have known I was getting out at the beginning, I wouldn't have really cared about being an E5 or being an E6, to be honest. I would have focused more on the training. But the good thing is that the leadership and the responsibilities that, you know, I had to have underneath my belt, you know, worked out. But a lot of that stuff you can do as an E4. You know, you can still be, just because you're E4 don't mean that you don't have, you know, leadership skills and can't be leading people. Because a lot of times, especially in my MOS, whoever know what the fuck they talking about is who they're gonna be listening to. Whether it's the E7 or if it's the E4, whoever know what they talking about, that's who they're gonna listen to.
That's funny that you say that, because my second deployment, first time to Afghanistan, S6, yeah, like you said, they have, you know, E6 running NCOIC, but like they were going to put my buddy that was the E4 at the time in charge because he knew what he was doing. He was the one that got sent out to go do all the shit for the commo, for the truck, got sent to Kandahar. It don't, like you said, it don't matter. It matters about your skill, because the rank will come, dude, especially in like high need MOS. I mean, points are like 39. All you got to do is like, you know what I'm saying? Get to the board and you're straight. You're like, you're good. But dude, I guess you made a great point too. Like something I was thinking about when you're talking is, no matter what you do, man, doesn't matter if you're a business right now, doesn't matter if it's going to the military, you got to have an exit plan, dude. You got to have an exit plan, bro, because you, at one day, you're going to be done with it. Don't matter if you're doing 33 years. Yeah, maybe you got 33 years to think of it. But like, dude, do you even know what that looks like? Because I mean, all successful businesses and like all these rich people, they talk about stuff like this, man, but they don't talk about this stuff with the other people in the world or the military. Like, hey, does your recruiter talk to you about an exit plan when you go sign up?
Hell no.
Exactly. They don't give a damn. They're trying to meet quota. It's all numbers, man. Everything's numbers. They're gonna get your ass in, ship you out, give you that 20,000, get taxed on it. You're off. Fuck Rob. Next one, Michael. Send them out. Fuck Michael. Next one. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have that exit strategy, man. Like they don't care, dude. Some of them probably still in the Army right now. Like my recruiter that put me in, I think he's like a sergeant major or a first sergeant at the recruiting station. He got on recruiting duty, never left. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They don't check in and say, "Hey, you good? You use your," you know, they don't. It's just
that's another thing that I would say for just people in general that's in the military is don't get complacent, man. Do not get complacent. Always try and learn more. Always try and I'm not talking about as far as getting promoted, because it's cool. And to be honest, depending on your MOS, that's another reason why. Because I could have went to drill sergeant school, or I could have went to the schoolhouse. As a younger troop, you know, drill sergeant school was, oh, I want to be a drill sergeant. I want to be a drill sergeant. But for long-term stuff, right? Me being out of tech, me being out of my job for 2 years just didn't make sense, right? And just understand that the higher you get in the military, unless you go in warrant, the further you get away from doing your job. So I think that's another reason that a lot of the senior people have a harder time transition, because they ain't been doing their fucking job. They've been leading people, but they're not doing their job. They graded delegation, and I need these 10 people to do this, but they're not actually doing it, you know?
That's a pretty good point, man. And you're absolutely right, because the people in the DFAC, once they make like E6, E7, you don't even see them. You're like, where were you? You're too good to be in here now. But that was a big, yeah, it's pretty interesting that you said that, man. The further up you go in rank, the further away you could possibly get, because you're right. You could become a platoon sergeant, a section sergeant. You're not even in the damn job you're doing anymore. You're just worried about doing paperwork. Not to say you're going to get out and do that same job, but like you're not going to be as proficient, you know, if you don't practice something every day or do something every day. So, yeah.
Exactly. No, but that's one thing I would tell myself or anybody, is that if they're going to send your ass to some training, go to the training. Now, it's certain stuff that, even like the warrior leaders course, or the shit you got to do to become E5, all that training it's actually really beneficial. And like I said, people on the outside pay a lot of money for that type of training. And then, like I said, just put it in your toolbox, or put it in your tool set, and then it's all going to be useful on the other side, all of it.
Yeah. Another thing, I guess, if I would go back, I would just use more of that tuition assistance, dude. Don't worry about going to the mall every week and spending my whole check, and like actually do a class or two. You don't have to kill yourself and go full time, but man, you get $4,000 or whatever it is a year. You could get out the military in a couple of years with a bachelor's degree or associate's degree. Then you can use all these other benefits, and you could be going for a master's or doctorate's degree. Then you're making, a master's degree, you're probably gonna make six figures, right? At that, if you're in the right field. So it's like, if I looking back on my own career, I would say that, yeah, absolutely, man. I would want to use more of the tuition assistance. Now, was it hard because I was a food service and I was deployed? Yeah, but when you're deployed, you got a lot of time, man. Instead of spending 3 hours in the gym, you could spend 2 hours and do an hour of school every day or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So just shit like that. But
Another thing, I didn't do it. I didn't get caught in the trap, but I see a lot of people that do. Stop buying shit.
Hold on real quick. Don't buy cars in AIT for 20% interest.
Come
Know
on,
what
man.
you're doing, man. Go ahead. I had to say that shit.
No, that's the thing.
They
Like,
were doing
look,
it in Fort Lee, bro. They're going to Virginia Beach on the weekend on a day pass, coming back with cars.
damn. Look, man. And then another thing is, look, gang, it is no point. I know your rank. We can look on the fucking internet to see everybody broke. Everybody broke, right? You just broke with a fucking Camaro, or you just broke with a fucking Charger. Like that, don't do it. And especially just to pull up to the B's or something like that. It's just way better just to save your bread or to invest your bread. Because having a car, most likely, a brand new car, like I said, with like you said, with the 20% interest, is just a waste of fucking money. And you're not making shit. You're not making no money. Ain't no way. Then another thing is, just look at the other people. A lot of times, if you pulling up in some Benz or a $50,000 car, whatever the fuck it is, and your commander is pulling up in a fucking Camry, something's wrong, man. You gotta kind of look at your responsibilities. It just don't make sense. Basically, you fucking join the military to fucking pay your car note. That it doesn't make any sense.
Plenty of people do that, man. Hey, they get what's like the top 5 cars on post: Charger, Challenger, Camaro, Impala. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, it's all the same things, but man, all that stuff comes with payment. But hey, this ain't financial advice, man. We just letting y'all know from our
right. Don't listen to us.
But hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, be smarter, man. I mean, people are always talking about this. It's like, it's not like it hasn't happened. Even if the interest not 20%, maybe it's 11 or 7 or not. That's pretty high, man. Don't get in credit card debt like I did. Oh, I knew I was going to Iraq. Let me max this American Express out for $8,000, pay 20% interest rate. I'm paying that credit card off the whole damn deployment as a private. You don't make that much money as a private in the military. Don't matter if you deployed or not. The only way you're going to make it if you got some kids or something like that, or a spouse. But, just be smart, man. A lot of people come on here and say they had lifestyle creep. They had lifestyle inflation.
It'll happen.
Make more rank, and hey, let me go get that Ford Raptor. Hey, I just made E6. Let me go get that Beamer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get more money, but you think you have to spend every dime that you get. That's not true, man. It's not true.
Nope.
But no, all great points, man. Hopefully someone's learning something from this, because we try to drop as many nuggets as we can. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But so what happened, like, after you got out the military, did you struggle with anything at first when you took that first job of yours, or what'd that look like?
Well, so my first job, right? So my first job, praises to the Most High. And like I said, it's funny how the universe works. So I'm teaching at the schoolhouse. At first, I thought it was gonna be terrible, but I ended up loving it, right? So I was like, damn, I think I want to do this when I get out.
Okay.
So my first job was actually teaching, right? So teaching tech to civilians or to regular people, whatever you want to call it. So I was doing that, and I was rocking out. I was teaching at colleges. I was teaching at vocational schools. I was doing boot camps, all types of stuff, just, working for somebody else. By the time I got out, no, I didn't have a degree. I had a bunch of certifications, IT certifications. I got my bachelor's maybe a year after I got out, and then 2 or 3 years after that, I got my MBA. Right. So, and I'm honestly just to preface that, the only reason, honestly, I got my bachelor's and then my master's. My bachelor's just because, okay, that's cool, and it was gonna pay me. My master just because my MBA just because nobody in my family had one, right? I can't say that me personally that it helped me or that it was beneficial or necessary, but it's a cool little thing to have, to say that, hey, I was the first person in my family to get an MBA. But the only drawback I would say when I first started working was, damn, I thought I was kind of gonna get away from working for dummies, but shit, it's shit. My first boss was a fucking idiot, so I was just like, damn, this is just how it is. And I don't think I'm too good or just the smartest person in the world, but it's like, fuck. But the good thing is, working for a dumb motherfucker will inspire you. Well, it inspired me, because the whole thing, every time I did, I say, well, if this dumb motherfucker can do it, I know I can do it, right?
Right.
So, I was working for schools and stuff, and I did that for about 2 years.
Okay.
About 2 years. I was working for different schools and colleges and stuff, and was, making pretty good money. And I don't advise anybody else do this, but Like I said, I've always had, a strong belief in myself because I know I was going to work to get whatever I need to get. I did that for 2 years, and then I jumped out the window in 2018. Yeah, 2018, and started doing stuff on my own. So I started training and teaching people on my own, and I've been in business for 5 years. So most businesses supposedly fail in the first year, and then I think it's the highest percentage that fail in the first 5 years. So God has blessed me to be doing this for 5 years, helping people. Pretty much the same thing I did in the military, training civilians, veterans. To get into tech, and also helping people, coaching clients and stuff like that, whether it's sergeant majors or whoever it is, regular people, either level up in business or level up in their job. So that's what I do right now. So I went from doing that stuff for other people and then doing it for myself.
Okay. Hey, congratulations on your business success, man.
Thank
Like
you,
you
man.
said, hey, first 5 years, it's like a hit or miss, man. And most people do fail, but props to you for not giving up and staying on your grind, bro, because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? But it's worth it. I'm sure you can say it's worth it. You doing your thing for yourself, for your family. You ain't got no clowns in front of you trying to tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's not about being the best, but we all have different standards. So you're always going to work with people that are good and bad. So what made you want to take that? Was it just like everything that built up? What made you want to take that jump of faith?
The thing was, and then like I said, I don't recommend nobody else doing this, and I had never really did that before. But I didn't have any backup plan. I said this shit is either gonna work or it's gonna work. I didn't have another job lined up. I literally gave them my 2 week notice. I had been building up, my training program and stuff like that, and I just jumped out the window. This is my whole thing, Mike. Once it's for me, kudos to anybody that can do it. But once it's for me, once it's over with, it's over with. Once I was done with the military, I literally couldn't do 10 years. I was just like, I'm not about to wake up every day and don't feel like doing this shit or hate this shit. And that's the point that I got to, working for people, right? And working for my last employer in particular. And I just said, I'm wasting my fucking life. I'm, complaining, talking to my wife about the shit, and then everybody at my fucking job was complaining. And my whole thing is, I don't understand that people that just complain, and not about to do shit about it. I say, I'm about to quit. They couldn't believe that shit. Like, what you mean you about to quit? This is a good job. I'm like, well, shit, I don't like this shit, and you don't like it either. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap out. And then, just like anybody else, like, oh, he'll be back, or shit is gonna go left. And I'm actually one of my the last job that I work for, I'm actually one of their competitors now, right?
Okay.
And then, like I said, it's just a lot of times it's just seeing somebody doing it, right? Long as once I see somebody and this motherfucker's not a cyborg, not a robot, a human. If a human can do it, it means that I can do it. I know it, but I know it's not gonna be easy. I know it's gonna take hard work. So that was just I just did it, and luckily it worked out, but it was super hard. Because I thought being in the military and deploying was the hardest thing I did in my life. And then I started a business. That was the hardest. Yeah, this has been the hardest fucking thing I've ever done, easily.
Yeah, but it's at least you ain't gonna get blown up, bro.
Exactly. Right. That's another thing that I'll be telling my coaching clients. The shit is just like, man, like literally, like, guys that was, like I said, the baddest motherfuckers ever. Like, you got shot at and blown up. Now you scared to, either transition out or to take a test or to level up, whatever you're trying to do. Is just like, you're safe. Like, we're safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna fucking die, which was a real possibility when we was in the military.
Oh yeah, every day, every night, man. But like, hey, they said like a stat. They said interesting after World War I, it was like the majority of small businesses were owned by veterans, man. And now we're at a point where like there's only like 3 or 4%, if that, of small businesses owned by veterans. So like,
damn.
I don't know, man. You just think about being in the military and all the drive, all the stuff that you get, all the good stuff that you get instilled in your mind, right? The good programming that you got, and like, dude, who makes a better business owner than a veteran?
And another thing that I like rocking out with veterans, whether it's work or employees, whatever it is just because they have a different. Most of them, you get some dummies here and there, but most of them is just an execution mindset. What we got to do? Fuck it, let's do it. Instead of just why How?
Yeah.
You sure? No, shit, let's just do this. We got to dig this fucking trench. Let's dig it. Like, ain't nothing to talk about. Let's go ahead and, let's get it done. So that's one of the good things. And then, like I said, it's, it's a reason that me and you got out, but it's definitely was beneficial. I'll say for sure the military changed my life for sure.
Oh yeah, and I don't bash the military. I think it was a great stepping stone. I mean, I thought I was going to do 4 years, get the GI Bill, but I ended up liking it. Went to Germany, had a good time for the most part. But it's great, man. I mean, you get out and have benefits for the rest of your life, and it's a great opportunity, man. You get to see the world, get paid. It might not be as much, but you get to open your eyes to what's out there, man. Some people don't even leave their damn hometown. You know what I'm saying?
So Mike, really quickly, what would your advice be? So let's say, for one, let's say the guy was on the same type of time as you. I'm gonna do this first 4-year contract, and I'm getting out. What advice would you have for them? And secondly, what advice would you have for the person that is on the fence? Right? They do not like the. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They do not like this shit. They tired of going to PT. They 7, 8, maybe 10 years in. They like, oh man, I only got 10 years left. Oh shit, but they are not feeling it. They're not feeling it at all. What would you have for the person that's 4 years in as opposed to the person that's damn near about to go in deaf?
Well, excuse me, the good questions. A person that was like 4 years in, I would say, I mean, okay, for real quick, I guess I had a sort of an exit strategy because I knew I was going to use a GI Bill when I got out. I didn't know how long I was going to do, but for the people that are, he's only doing 4 years, you just got to have a plan of action to do, man. You got to have money. You got to start saving your finances. You got to start networking. You got to start talking to people, like you said, that are getting out. You got to start thinking about where you want to move. A lot of people have recommended, hey, it might not be good to move cross country for a job as soon as you get out, because what happens if that backfires? So maybe you want to find something local. Maybe you want to get your GI Bill getting ready, wanting to start reaching out to schools and get your certificate of eligibility off va.gov. Get that sent to some schools that you might want to apply, because guess what? When you get out the military, if you don't have those 60 days, I had 68 days to leave just like you did. Exactly. And I took my 2 months and I was in Alaska working as another job. So I was getting double dipped. You know what I'm saying? At least I had that part. But then my shit blew up. But to go back to the person that's thinking about getting out, I would have school benefits ready to go. If school's something that you want to do, or even better, if it's something that I didn't know about, I would start looking. If I'm in the military and I'm on the fence of getting out, I'd start looking for internships. I'd start looking at Boeing. I'd start looking at Lockheed Martin, someone that's going to take you underneath your wing because you're in the military and offer you that opportunity to get out there and showcase your skills. And then they're going to offer you a job after you perform. Bro, I wish I knew that shit. One of my old soldiers, Purvis, he was on and he was a cook. He reclassed to like field artillery, reclassed again to a 25 Bravo, got all his certs, did all his shit, bro. He did an internship with Boeing. He's working downtown St. Louis right now. I had him on not that long ago. It's crazy how IT is blowing up. So I would say that for the 4-year-old, the 4 years in person, just have a plan, man. Don't have a card note with 20% interest. It's hard. We like to buy things. We all do. We all like nice things. We all like to, go do things, but just be prepared, man. And have stuff in a row, have a support system, talk to people like you said. And for that person that's on the fence of absolutely hating getting out, you could try to find a job that pays you 6 figures, and you could have your commander sign you out. I forget what it's called, man, because I was looking into it. You can get it if you have the skill set like you had. You can get a job making that 200,000 and say, "Hey, I found something that's going to be better than the military for me. Do you think you can help me get discharged?" And you get an honorable discharge. So I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't want to miss talk on that, but I was ready to go like 5, 6 years in, and I still did 8, but I still try to do my best as an NCO. So I would say don't give up on who you are as a person just because you hate your surroundings, but do the best you can for the people that are underneath you. Do the best for yourself and your family, because the last thing you want to do is get out on a bad note. That's only going to, you can still get disability, you can still get that, but why throw away all that time just because you got under a shit bag or something like that? It sucks, man. I was under them, dude. I got plenty of stories.
Yeah, me too.
But I just try to bite my tongue and just ride out my time, because no one's going to care, man. Some people might be able to get you. That's one thing I didn't really like about the military is they have sabotage, man. And it's dude, we're all in the same gang, bro. We're all in this shit together. We might not like each other, but why are we trying to go after each other? So that sort of changed my aspect of being in. It's the people you're around, like you said about your job, the people that complain all day. I don't want to be around that. I had a lot of different jobs when I get out, but guess what? The beauty of getting out is you can leave those jobs. right there and then. It might not be the most professional thing to do. I don't recommend doing it if you don't have something else lined up, or even doing it because it's sort of unprofessional. But it's the beauty of you don't have to stay somewhere that you hate. But if you hate the military, man, just use it for everything it's got. Take all its benefits, and just if you don't, then you're just leaving stuff on the table, man. We could have got out with master's degree. 8 years. We could have had doctorates. We could have had a master's at least. I mean, or at least a bachelor's at going like a tortoise. So I could be going for my doctorates. Not saying I would. I'm just saying, like, you can set yourself up for way more success if you just use what's available. Do your due diligence, no matter if you hate it or you love it, because one day you're going to need to get out, and you got to have an exit plan regardless who you are. So that's probably what I'd recommend a little bit.
I got one last question for you. So it's a troop going into the recruiting office. Well, I guess I'm not fucking in the troop yet, but it's a person going into the recruiting office, and all they have is the MOS that you had when you went in. Should that person join or not join?
I mean, it depends on what else they have on the back burner. Like, do they have the military, or what else is there? What else are their choices? If they
that's it. They either they fucking they do Amazon or they do that.
I guess it depends on what they really want to do. If they want to sit and do Amazon and get watched like you're in the military for $12 an hour, then sit at Amazon. You know what I'm saying? If you want to join the military, and see the world, get a little bit of money, get your school paid for, dude, meet people. You never know who you're going to meet, man. You never know what you're going to see. You never know what you're going to do. I was a cook, but I did different stuff. Like, you're a soldier first. You learn how to be a gunner. You learn how to learn how to do first aid. You learn how to give IVs in the fucking dark. And then with night vision, assemble, reassemble, disassemble, reassemble weapons in the dark with envy, like stuff that people, so don't get the perception that, and as a cook, honestly, man, you have a lot of doors that you could do. If you love, like, I wanted to join the military as a cook because I love cooking. I wanted to get on the culinary team, but obviously we were at war. So as soon as I got to Campbell, like, you ready to go to Iraq? I'm like,
not really, but okay.
Do I have a choice? I mean, I didn't know we had a choice in the military like that. So, like, I mean, as far as food service goes, that's a whole nother conversation, a discussion. But you could be a warrant, you could be a general's aide, you could work on the C-20 program and fly on Lear jets. If you're under like 6'1", you could be stationed in DC, Hawaii, or Germany, get TDY all day and fly with dignitaries. You could work at the Pentagon, you could work at the White House. You know what I'm saying? So people bash cooks, but at the end of the day, they got one of the most open career fields, I would say, that you could do something badass in if you actually take the time and want to level up. But I guess that'd probably be my recommendation. Like,
never leave.
What's up?
I said that shit sound good to me. I just was wondering.
No, not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's like, at the end of the day, dude, you got to ask yourself, do I want to stay here and do the same shit every day that everyone else is doing, or should I leave for a couple years and then come back? Because everyone's going to be doing the same shit. When you leave, everyone's going to forget about you when you're gone, and when you come back, you're going to be trying to connect with them and shit. But everyone's doing their own life. Not to say they don't care about you, but dude, everyone's doing the same thing. Not too many people are like, oh, dude, hey, bro, you made $1 million? Oh no, you still working at McDonald's? Oh, you at Walmart, or you at whatever? It's like you've grown to a new height, man. It's sad, bro, because it's people that you grew up with, like we were talking about earlier. Like you said, you had your friends from high school, then you had your friends in the military. Now you got your other people you deal with. It's like you're always progressing. So it's like some people get left in the dust, some people you bring up with you. But at the end of the day, like the people say, man, if you have a couple good friends that you could count on one hand, that's pretty damn good. Most people are going to be your acquaintance, your associate, or something like that. They're not really in it to win it with you. So that probably
everybody can't come, man.
Nah, not at all, dude. Like, so what's your business like? Look, okay, let's touch on tech, man, because dude, big time industry, hot industry, high paying jobs. You can go to Dubai, work. I worked overseas at contract. I mean, they were working help desk for $120 in Dubai.
Yep.
They get a car, they live in the city.
Yep.
How can you go wrong, bro? You know what I'm saying? So like, what's your advice for people that either are 25 Bravos or 25 series or want to, or like the clients that you have that maybe not even been in tech and they might be 60 years old? Like, you post, client asked me if 60 years old is too old to be in tech. Absolutely not. If you know how to learn and you're proficient, right? So touch on that a little bit, if you don't mind. Like, what would you recommend? You said you waited a little bit to get your certs, but if you could go back, would you get A+, Net Plus, all that shit on the military's dime, right?
Yep. So I would get as many certifications as I could get, as quickly as I could get them. Especially the easiest transition, gang, is if you're in the military, is transitioning into the DoD, just in general. because a lot of times they have veteran preference and all this other stuff, and then it's kind of like the same culture a little bit because you're pretty much going to be working with military people just that don't have the uniform on. So if I could go back, I would definitely get all the certifications a lot quicker. But what I will say is a lot of people think that they're not smart enough to be in tech or stuff like that. A lot of times it's just a mindset, right? Long as, like Mike said, long as you're willing to learn and as long as you're willing to work hard, you can definitely win. And then, like I said, tech is one of those where you can get to the bag easily. You can get to the bag. Or if you work in, like I just got off a coaching call before I got on with Mike. And this guy wants to get these certifications called Network Plus and Security Plus. And just those two certs in DC, he would go from 190 to 270. Now, cost of living, blah, 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 all that other shit.
But still, though.
But 270 is 270, goddamn. 270 is, that shit is okay.
Half that, you still at like 135 or whatever you're going to be at. So you good, man.
So if you are looking to either reclassify to 25 Bravo or to some tech stuff in the military, or looking to get out or looking to get in, basically just change your mindset. For one, you can do it. Another thing is just, no matter if you're trying to get into tech or business or whatever, get you some type of mentorship, right? Me and Mike connected on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a fucking cheat code to get to whoever you want to get to. It's so many people on there. It's not as sexy as Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, but real movers and shakers and people that's really getting to what they need to get to and actually accomplishing shit are on LinkedIn, right? And a lot of times they'll respond to you. You tap in with them, follow them, blah, blah, blah. Just a quick networking tip. I'm pretty sure, your audience is smart enough to know. Always add value first, or at least ask the person, is it something that you can do for them? Don't just fucking message somebody, say, can you mentor me? In other words, to me, that would be, hey, you mind if I waste some of your fucking time? Just see if if they need anything, follow them. For me, this is my thing, right? So if it's somebody I want to get close to, somebody I want to connect with, somebody that I think I can learn something from, for one, I like them. Not like them. I'll like their posts. I'll comment on their posts. If they selling something, I'll fucking buy it, right? So that's one of the biggest ways. That's one of the biggest ways is if you support it, if you really like, oh yeah, I bought this and that, or just to get closer to a person, just to get some tutelage, some of that stuff. But a lot of times you can just do this through through proxy, just seeing, oh, this person is one, this person doing this person doing that. And then like another thing, just like Mike, just like anybody else, keeping your nose and your name clean, right? Because the internet is big, but it's super small at the same time. You never know who this person knows, who that person knows. So you do some fuckery with somebody, and now you can't do a deal with this person, or you can't get a job because your name is bad. So the thing I would do is, like I said, I would tap in on LinkedIn while you're still in, right? So I was fucking messaging and DMing people all the time on LinkedIn, getting my numbers up, and that's literally how I got a job, right? So and another thing is post, right? Post. Don't post. That's a different. You can't post the shit that you post on Facebook and Instagram. Post whatever you good at, whatever you can do. Post that type of shit. It's like Mike. He might post if you want to do the culinary shit. He might post some wonderful shit that he just made, some or a banquet that he was at, or whatever. I'm cooking for the 5-star general. Look at this shit. Look how cool I am. Just so people can remember you, right? So you top of mind when jobs come up, when opportunities come up. But for sure, getting back to your question. Education is never a waste, right? So if you're getting certified, if you're learning stuff, you will be a benefit. And another thing is, gang, technology is moving faster than it's ever fucking moved. So with automation, with artificial intelligence, you kind of gotta, whatever you're doing, technology is going to be a part of it, and it's going to affect it. So one thing I would say now is, more than ever, you have to speed. You got to execute. You got to hurry up. You got to get the shit out there, because somebody's gonna do it, whether it's fucking one of your buddies, a stranger, or a fucking machine. Whatever you think about doing, it's gonna get done. So you need to start doing it right now. So you're at the forefront, or Mike is the one that be interviewing the vets, right? Because I told Mike before we got on this, like, this is a lane that I don't see anybody else doing. So and this is another thing, gang. This is not easy. YouTube, you might think, oh, it's two motherfuckers on here talking. It's not. You gotta he got a life, he got shit he got to do, I got shit I got to do.
Yeah.
So just in general, if you're trying to do something, just go ahead and do it. But yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, just get certs, have the right mindset, and just start connecting with people. And like I said, get a mentor, like even if it's somebody that you just follow on YouTube, but you need to find somebody that aligns with what you're trying to do and listen to what the fuck they have to say, especially if they already where you're trying to be, and just follow what they say.
Yeah, because like you said earlier, it was not like reinventing the wheel. We're not really coming up with anything new. We're just trying to. You got to just find someone that's done it and follow their footsteps, like a leader in like an NCO in the army. Like everyone's got good and bad. You take the good, you leave the bad, right? You can learn something from everybody, but absolutely, man, mentorship is key. And no one's just gonna show up at your doorstep and be like, "Hey, I'm here to mentor you." So like, you're right, man. You got to seek it out. And I feel like sometimes I'm like, man, I don't have a mentor, but it's like, damn, what was I doing to try to market myself or put myself in a vulnerable situation? That way I can connect with someone like that. But as far as a LinkedIn goes, absolutely right, dude. When I was contracting, I mean, I hit all recruiters up from all these different companies. Sometimes they don't respond. Most of the time they do. Sometimes they'll say, I can help you, or they'll say, hey, I know this person. Send them your resume. So it's just like, what's the worst that could happen? Everyone's like, oh, I can't get a job. I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, what are you doing minus throwing the resumes in and just, sending them off on Indeed? You gotta reach out to people, man. It just goes back to the network, dude. Sometimes it's not even about how good your resume is. It might be, hey, I know Rob. He's going to put Rob. That's how I got my job in Pakistan. I knew someone. They put me in, and the rest is history, dude. Most jobs are given by a word of mouth or recommendation, dude. Referral, exactly. So yeah, get tapped into the right people. That way you can get, what you want in life. What's one word you would say in regards to your Army career? What sums up your military career? One word.
Beneficial.
That's a good one. What was your favorite food that you had in the military? You have any good defects, any good meals that you remember at all?
No, nothing. I wasn't at the wrong. I ain't have you as a cook. I ain't have no damn. I ain't have no.
You had the death from within, the Army cooks, man. The real standard, bro. Death from within, man. Damn.
No, that wouldn't. I wasn't really frequenting the defect too much. That shit wasn't.
What about Afghanistan though?
No, Afghanistan was the worst actually, because and that was another thing that kind of made me be like, because shit in Afghanistan we had the Afghanis was cooking, like the civilians was overseeing it, but it was mostly the Afghanis cooking, and it wasn't no bueno.
Damn, nothing, man. So you stick it. What's your favorite MRE?
Chili Mac.
Damn, everyone, man, that's like a favorite.
I think that's the only one. That's the one I can fucking remember.
Damn, I'm gonna send you a pallet, man.
But shit, okay. If shit hit the fan, man, I had something to eat. But I heard that the MREs are getting a lot better now. Like they got some extra shit in them, or something different. Maybe I heard the wrong thing.
M&M and Skittles, like that E8 was eating all day in the field, man. What she eating? Hey, them pound cakes, man. Had it going.
God damn.
Hey, what? How can people find you, man? Hey, my boy. Hey, man, he tried to downplay himself, man. My man Rob on YouTube, man. Let him plug himself in, dude. Dude got like 30,000 subscribers, man. Showing everybody the way to success in the IT field, man. Go ahead, dude. You gotta say where they can find you at, man.
Something like, man. So, if you guys are interested in IT or certifications, I got a YouTube channel called Master IT, the Tech Career Creator. So, but if you just look at Master IT, I'll pop up. I got almost 700 videos. So, if you're looking at tech, you probably seen me before. On Instagram, Master IT, on TikTok, Master IT, on Facebook, Master IT. So I'm all across social media, and then I'm on LinkedIn as well. I'm super duper active. If you need anything, if I can help you, I will assist. And just I'm here with Mike trying to give you guys some gems. Hopefully this interview was valuable, but that's where you can find me at.
Okay, for sure. What was your favorite place that you went while you were in the military?
Germany, for sure.
Germany? Yeah.
Germany was for sure. Yep.
Same. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, one more thing. Who you got anyone that you could call out, like a call to action for someone else to come on here and share their story? You know anyone off the top of your head that you could say? See if they.
Yeah. So I got two. So I got Angel Santiago, and I got Hector Santiago. So Angel Santiago was my last NCO. Just a great guy. He got out on the other side. He retired, I want to say. He got on the other side. He's doing tech stuff. Just an awesome guy. The hardest working NCO that I ever met, honestly, and actually gave a damn about his troops. He really did. He was one of the guys that, not out of thinking that I was gonna be a bum, but he really was trying to like, hey man, you should stay in. You're a great soldier, da, da. And we still actually locked in to this day. Hector Santiago is actually one of my first students. So Angel Santiago is my NCO. Then Hector Santiago is one of my first students that was in my program, right? So my tech program. He was a former infantryman, and it was kind of scared, like, man, I'm just kind of a grunt. I don't really know. And now this motherfucker is a IT director, right? So those two guys, right? So I think those would be some really good guests to bring on. And then if you want me to get them connected with you, I definitely can. It's too easy.
Yeah, let them. Hey, send anyone that wants to share, man. I'm saying, like, the more people we could get on this to share their story, hopefully the more people we could help not have to go through the same stuff that we were going through. So, sounds good. Hey, you wanna close it out with anything? You got anything else you might want to say to the listeners?
First things first, or last things last, because we about to finish this shit. My confidence, right, comes from competence, right? So just make sure that you're competent in whatever you're doing. Be consistent in whatever you're doing. And also your opinion of you is what matters the most. What your family says, what your friends says, it does not matter, right? And then like we were saying, everybody's not going to come along on the journey, right? I got friends, my military friends, we talk about military shit. My high school friends, we talk about high school shit. The things that I'm doing now, a lot of my friends and battle buddies and people like that wouldn't even understand what the fuck is going on. They wouldn't understand the person that I've become, right? So I would just say live up to your highest potential. So one of the things that me and Mike was talking about, I was telling him, hey man, you gotta have big ass goals. You want to have David Goggins on this motherfucker. You want to have Jocko on here, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things David Goggins says is that he thinks that hell is that, you die and, God says, hey man, I want you to meet somebody. And you say, okay. And then he brings out you, but it's the person you're supposed to be. This motherfucker's an astronaut, got a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, found a cure for cancer, cured COVID. And instead of being that, you ended up a fucking janitor, right? So according to him, that's what hell is, not living up to your full potential. So hopefully, me and Mikey help you to live up to your full potential, because until the wheels fall off, I'm gonna be grinding, doing what I got to do, and living up to my full potential, because I don't want to forsake the gift that God gave me.
Absolutely, man. They say the most valuable place, the richest place in the world is the graveyard, man, because that's where everyone's dreams and goals go to die, bro. Absolutely, dude. I think like Les Brown said that, but absolutely, man. Hey, Rob, I appreciate you, bro. I hope to continue to, work with you, chill with you, whatever we can do to help veterans. And I hope to learn from you as well, man. I appreciate your time coming on here today. And without further ado, bro, everyone listening, thank y'all. Hopefully you guys learned something. You got some golden nuggets out of here. But until next time, y'all have a blessed one.